welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into a subject that's, well, it's defined by both complexity and I think a lot of consequence for anyone who buys in.
A huge financial consequence, for sure.
Exactly. We're strapping ourselves in, metaphorically of course, to one of the most debated machines in the luxury performance world, the Audi RS7 Sportback.
And not just the standard model, we're also looking at the even more potent performance version.
We are, and our mission today is pretty singular, really. It's to cut through all the marketing noise, the legacy, just the sheer visual aggression of the thing.
And find the truth.
And determine the true value. We want to know, is this car a monumental achievement? Is it genuine hyper-performance engineering that justifies every single penny?
Or is it deep down a hype machine? Something running on its heritage and just, some very aggressive styling.
We've got all the professional data you shared, the technical specs, the luxury details, and crucially, the hard, unvarnished realities of what it's actually like to own one of these long-term.
This is really the ultimate analytical challenge. You have German Vorsprung durch Technik progress through technology pitted against the inevitable laws of physics and the financial strain that comes with a 4,000 cubic centimeter twin-turbo V8.
And to really get the gravitational pull of this car, you said we have to start with the brand itself. You had a fantastic historical nugget about the name.
It's a wonderful piece of corporate history. Yeah, it ties the brand's identity directly to language.
So tell the listener, where does the name Audi actually come from?
Well, the founder was a man named August Horch, and he had already started a company under his own name, Horch.
Okay.
But due to some legal issues, he wasn't allowed to use his own surname for his new company. He needed a fresh start, a new name.
And the solution was just brilliant. It came from his German name.
Precisely. His surname, Horch, is the imperative form of the German verb horchen.
Which means?
It means to listen. So when he was forced to find a new name, he did something very elegant. He just translated that command, listen, into Latin.
And the Latin for listen is?
The imperative of the verb odder is Audi.
Wow. So he turned a legal setback into this classical commanding identity. Listen, that's baked right into the DNA of the company.
It is. It grounds the entire discussion. They're a company founded on the idea of demanding attention.
Okay, so now that we know the name means listen, let's listen to the data and get into the debate. For this deep dive, I'm going to take the position of the RS7's undeniable appeal. I'll focus on the raw power, the motorsport heritage, and just the sheer luxury that makes this car an object of desire.
And I'll be providing the essential reality check. I'm focusing on the mechanical vulnerabilities, the true costs associated with driving a 2-ton machine of this complexity, and the predictable maintenance bills that owners will face.
The dream versus the spreadsheet.
Exactly, because the immediate reward is exhilarating, but the long-term financial risk is just as high.
The ultimate battle, then, between desire and durability. Okay, let's unpack this. We're starting with how this beautiful monster establishes its place in the performance world. When we talk about the RS7, we're not just talking about another fast car. We're talking about a machine that's meant to be the absolute culmination of Audi's entire motorsport philosophy.
And that's critical. That RS badge isn't just letters. It's the link that separates it from a standard A7 and, frankly, justifies the enormous price jump.
That legacy, because way back, we're talking about the iconic silver arrows, the Auto Union Grand Prix cars from the 1930s.
Cars that were fundamentally redefining speed and aerodynamics at the time.
And then you fast forward to the modern era, and you've got Audi's relentless domination at Le Mans with their diesel racers. The RS series is described as the peak of all that. Its exclusivity, dynamism, sportiness.
And all that brand equity from winning races is what gives the RS7 its currency. It's what people are buying into.
Exactly. And the RS7 Sportback sits right at the top of that food chain. It's supposed to unite, and I'm quoting the literature here, astonishing performance with remarkable luxury.
And it has to be said, it pulls off that balance. It's a sleek, usable 4-door car that also happens to be a supercar hunter.
You just can't deny its road presence. It's overwhelming.
Visually, it absolutely succeeds. It screams performance, which is exactly what the owner is paying for, that commanding appearance.
Let's break down some of the details that create that statement. A lot of this is standard equipment, mind you.
Yeah.
You've got that incredibly aggressive honeycomb grille.
A direct cue from racing mesh.
Right. And the RS7 badge, of course.
Yeah.
And those darkened rear LED lights, they give it this this menacing look, even when it's just sitting still. This is not subtle. It is loud, confident, statement luxury.
And the wheels and tires definitely back that statement up.
Oh, absolutely. The standard fitment alone is serious business. We're talking 21-inch wheels, 9 inches wide. The design is called a 5 double spoke with a titanium look.
For the tires,
They're wrapped in 27,530 R21 tires. That is a massive amount of rubber on the road. It just defines its muscular stance right away.
but for the buyer who wants to turn that visual impact up to 11, there's an option.
You're talking about the titanium styling package.
I am. And this is where that presence you mentioned really gets amplified.
It becomes undeniable, I think. This package takes all the key aerodynamic bits, the front lip spoiler, the side flaps, the mirror caps, the rear diffuser.
Even the grille surround and the air intakes.
Yes. And it renders them all in this bold, contrasting titanium gray finish. I love this little detail. The air intakes proudly feature the Quattro logo.
So it's not just a styling choice. I mean, if we look at it as a financial signal, the titanium package tells everyone on the road that the Ono paid for maximum visibility.
It's a flex.
It's absolutely a flex. It's ensuring everyone knows this isn't just an Audi, this is the Audi, the top tier spec.
Exactly. It is designed to be noticed, and it utterly succeeds.
Yeah.
It's as much a psychological masterpiece as it is an engineering one.
I agree. But let's use that high-end pricing as a pivot point. You've established the RS7 as the emotional pinnacle, and you've done it well. But we have to challenge that narrative a bit
How so?
by putting Audi into its current industry context. How much of that huge price tag is for genuine pinnacle engineering, and how much is just leveraging that powerful brand equity while the company navigates some very choppy economic waters?
Are you suggesting the car is compromised somehow because of corporate finances?
I'm talking about the financial reality behind the company making the car. Your own source material shows Audi is under significant financial pressure right now. Their operating profit for Q1 2025, it was cut by 44%.
That's a huge drop.
It is. They're in the middle of a massive restructuring effort to save €1 billion a year by 2026. This isn't a company just resting on its Le Mans trophies. This is a company in a very high-stakes transition.
Okay, but a restructuring doesn't automatically diminish the quality of their flagship car. You could argue it forces them to perfect these high-margin models, like the RS7, to fund that very transition.
It forces them to be pragmatic, yes, and we're seeing that. They've pivoted away from that aggressive EV-only focus they were championing.
Right, they're calling it a pragmatic multi-path strategy now.
Which means internal combustion engines, plug-in hybrids, and EVs. And this recalibration is because, let's be honest, they can't dominate the EV market right now. Tesla has that locked down, and they're struggling to keep pace with BMW in key markets like the US.
So in that context, the RS7 becomes, what, a statement of defiance? A final, glorious celebration of the internal combustion engine in a world going electric.
And that is the critical question for anyone thinking of buying one. Is the RS7 truly the unrestricted pinnacle of Audi's engineering? Or is it a strategically positioned, high-cost, high-margin masterpiece designed to maximize profit while the company quietly prepares for an electric future?
You're saying it's perfecting a technology.
A technology, the powerful twin-turbo V8 that the company is simultaneously preparing to leave behind in the next decade.
That is a very cynical, but I admit, a necessary way to frame a 600 horsepower car. But regardless of corporate strategy, the actual performance numbers are impossible to argue with. So let's get into the engine room. This is where the hype becomes concrete, measurable reality. We're talking about an uncompromising power plant. The engine at the heart of this is, of course, the 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8.
993 cubic centimeters. With a 4-valve per cylinder setup, this is serious track-tested engineering.
And the output figures are they're astonishing. Let's compare the two models directly because the difference is significant for the people who buy these cars.
It is. So the standard RS7.
The standard RS7 gives you a maximum power of 560 PS, and that's available from 5,700 all the way to 6,600 RPM. That is enough to launch this big car from 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 3.9 seconds.
Which is already phenomenal for a luxury four-door, but everyone's focus inevitably is on the performance model.
And rightly so. The R7 performance just pushes everything further. Max power goes up significantly to 605 PS.
And that power is delivered a bit higher up the rev range, between 6,100 and 6,800 RPM.
Right. It's an increase of 45 PS, and crucially, it shaves 0.2 of a second off the acceleration time. 0 to 62 drops to just 3.7 seconds. That's knocking on the door of supercar territory.
Well, hang on a second. 0.2 of a second. For what I assume is a massive price premium for the performance model, is 0.2 seconds truly worth it?
I think you're missing the point.
Or is it just psychological? Is it just bragging rights? I mean, on a public road, can you even feel that difference?
For the person buying this car, 0.2 seconds is the difference between being merely fast and being the fastest. It's about having the absolute maximum. And it's not just horsepower, it's the torque.
Okay, let's talk torque.
Both models deliver a massive 700 Newton meters, and it comes in this wonderfully broad, flat plateau, starting way down at 1750 RPM and holding steady all the way to 5500.
And that's what makes the car feel so effortlessly quick in any gear. But the performance model has another trick up its sleeve.
The overboost function.
The overboost function, yes. It can momentarily push the torque output up to a staggering 750 Newton meters. That's what gives you that truly effortless, explosive acceleration for overtaking. It validates the performance name.
And this isn't just brute force, it's intelligent power. The tech in this V8 is derived from motorsport. It uses fuel stratified injection, or FSI.
Which is technology literally rooted in their Le Mans winning race cars.
So break that down for us. Why is FSI so important here?
FSI is Audi's name for their direct injection system. So instead of injecting fuel into the intake port like older engines, it sprays it directly into the combustion chamber under very high pressure.
And the benefit of that is?
In a high-performance, turbocharged engine like this, it allows for incredibly precise fuel delivery and timing. This is vital for managing heat and boosting efficiency when the engine is under a heavy load. It lets them run higher compression ratios without detonation.
So it's not just a marketing acronym. It's a fundamental part of how they get so much power and torque and efficiency out of this engine.
It's the key to the whole thing. And speaking of performance, while the top speed is officially limited to 155 miles per hour,
there's a little note in the catalog, isn't there?
There is. Page 49, it explicitly mentions an option to increase that limit. They're basically acknowledging that the people buying this car want to unlock its true potential.
I love that. It's like they're saying, we built a race car, but please pay us a little extra to actually use it.
Which brings us neatly to the costs that underpin those amazing numbers. You celebrated the 3.7-second sprint time, but we can't ignore the mass that's being moved.
Okay, the weight.
The unladen weight is a hefty 1930 kilograms. That is just shy of 2 metric tons.
Well, it's a large all-wheel drive luxury performance car. Weight is an unavoidable part of the package, right? You need it for the safety structure, the soundproofing, all the luxury systems people expect.
Unavoidable, perhaps, but it's never without consequence. Heavier cars need bigger, more expensive components. Suspension, brakes, chassis parts. And that weight creates enormous kinetic energy.
Which means you need massive brakes to slow it down.
Massive brakes that wear out faster and cost more to replace. It's a direct link. And it obviously impacts fuel consumption.
Let's talk about that, because Audi has some clever tech to try and mitigate the V8's thirst. The cylinder on demand system.
The COD technology, yes. It's designed to automatically shut down 4 of the 8 cylinders when you're just cruising or at a constant speed.
So it turns a V8 into a V4 to save fuel. Sounds brilliant.
It does sound brilliant. But I have to challenge how effective it really is, because when you look at the final numbers, the combined fuel consumption is only 29.7 miles per gallon.
Only? For a 600 horsepower, 2-ton car? That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
I'd call it adequate, not revolutionary. It just shows that for all the clever tech, you can only bend the laws of physics so far. You still have to feed that beast.
Okay, but perhaps the bigger cost, the one you can't avoid no matter how you drive, is the tax.
It's a recurring costly penalty for that performance. Both the standard and the performance models produce 221 grams of CO2 per kilometer.
And that puts it in the highest tax band.
Firmly in Category K for the vehicle excise duty, which means a hefty one-time hit of 640 pounds in the first year.
640 pounds just to get it on the road.
And then it's a recurring 290 pounds every single year after that. This is a non-performance cost that just comes with the territory. An EV owner might be paying 0. You are paying a premium tax for those emissions year after year.
It's a fixed cost of admission that has to be factored into the total ownership calculation.
Absolutely. And honestly, it's marginal compared to the potential maintenance bills we have to talk about next. The dark side of hyper-performance is rarely the tax bill. It's the repair bill. So now we move from the exhilaration of the power to the, well, the inevitable mechanical strain that power puts on everything. The reality is that high performance introduces high risk and high cost. We have to look at the known pitfalls of the A7 4K Rs7 chassis.
Right, this is about what it's like to own one of these when the warranty runs out and the miles start to add up.
Yeah.
Let's start with the engine. What are the big ticket items that owners need to worry about?
The number one concern has to be the twin turbocharger system. Turbo failure is a known issue, and it's because these things are operating under extreme conditions, immense pressure and incredible temperatures to make that kind of power.
So it's just wear and tear.
It's extreme wear and tear. They are highly susceptible to seal and bearing failure, which is almost always linked back to oil quality and maintenance. If you don't use the absolute best oil and change it religiously, you are risking a catastrophic multi-thousand-pound failure.
I'd argue that's a required commitment, not a design flaw. Any car pushed this hard is going to stress its turbos.
But they cannot engineer out neglect. And that high stress extends to the engine's timing mechanism. The timing chain is another area of risk.
Not a timing belt, a chain.
A chain, yes. But even a chain can fail, the tensioners can wear out, and if it skips a tooth, you're looking at catastrophic engine damage. Again, meticulous oil changes are the key preventative measure.
Yeah.
And if you hear any unusual rattling on startup, that's not a quirk, that's an urgent warning.
A warning to get your checkbook ready.
Exactly. And now for a problem that's inherent in the very design that makes the engine so powerful: carbon buildup.
This is a known issue with almost all modern direct injection engines, right?
It is, but it's particularly pronounced in high-performance engines like this. Because the fuel is injected directly into the cylinder, it never washes over the back of the intake valves.
Like it did in older port-injected engines.
Precisely. So over time, carbonized oil and exhaust gases bake onto those intake valves, restricting airflow. It's like plaque in your car's arteries. It slowly chokes the engine.
And the result for the owner is a gradual loss of performance and worse fuel economy. So what's the fix?
Well, you can try fuel system cleaners, but their effectiveness is limited. The real fix is an expensive professional cleaning service, often called walnut blasting, where they physically scour the carbon off the valves.
And what's interesting is that the way you drive affects it.
It does. Prolonged periods of low-speed city driving actually make the carbon buildup worse. The engine needs to be opened up and driven hard periodically to help burn some of that off.
So to keep the car healthy, you literally have to drive it like an RS7. But that aggressive driving creates its own set of high-cost problems, doesn't it?
It's a vicious cycle. Let's talk about the brakes. Brake wear is a major recurring expense. We established the car weighs nearly 2 tons.
And it encourages you to drive fast.
So you're constantly doing high-speed braking, which generates enormous amounts of heat. The result is that premature wear on the brake pads and the rotors isn't a possibility, it's a guarantee. And these are not cheap parts.
It's the cost of stopping a missile. What about the suspension?
Another complex, expensive system. The adaptive air suspension gives it that beautiful, adjustable ride. But the components, the air struts, the springs, the compressor, they can and do fail over time. Leaks develop.
And you end up with a car that's sagging on one corner and rides terribly.
And you're looking at another very costly replacement. Now, regarding the transmission, it's important to be clear. It's not a dual-clutch DSG system like in smaller RS models because of the massive torque. The RS7 uses the very robust ZF 8-speed Tiptronic. It's a traditional torque converter automatic, chosen specifically because it's more durable and can handle the V8's huge torque output more reliably over the long haul.
So they prioritize reliability over the absolute fastest shift speed. That seems like a smart engineering choice.
It is, but even the Tiptronic is subject to wear and potential mechatronics issues as it ages. The key is regular, rigorous transmission fluid changes. If you ignore that, you're inviting a 4-figure repair bill.
And then there's all the electronics.
The very complexity that makes the car so advanced is its Achilles heel as it ages. Malfunctions in the infotainment system, engine management, all of it. They can be nightmares to diagnose and fix. And one last thing, the catalytic converters.
Another expensive part.
Very expensive. Failure is common, often caused by the carbon issues or misfires. Replacement can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. This is the reality check. Performance demands constant, high-cost vigilance.
Okay, that is a comprehensive and, I have to say, quite a terrifying list of potential nightmares. But Audi knows all this. They build in mitigation strategies. You're not just left on your own.
So what are these peace-of-mind options you're talking about? How do they offset the fear of a turbo failure?
It starts with the warranty. The standard warranty is a solid 3 years, with unlimited mileage for the first 2. But the key is that you can extend it. You can pay a one-off cost and get coverage for 4 years and 75,000 miles, or even 5 years and 90,000 miles.
That's a significant extension.
It is, and this is the crucial part for anyone buying used. The warranty is fully transferable. That's a massive safeguard for the car's resale value against the very problems you just listed.
Okay, I'll grant you that's smart. It mitigates the buyer's fear of inheriting a ticking time bomb. It's a necessary defense.
And beyond that, they offer tailored servicing. They recognize that an RS7 driven on the motorway is different from one stuck in city traffic, which, as you said, makes the carbon buildup worse.
So you can choose your service schedule.
Yes. There's a fixed inspection service for low-mileage city cars, or a flexible service schedule that can go up to 19,000 miles or 2 years for motorway drivers. It allows you to be proactive.
The responsibility is still entirely on the owner to choose the right path and stick to it, but that flexibility is good.
Absolutely. Now let's pivot back to the experience that makes all this cost potentially worth it. The interior. When you get in, you are just insulated in quality. The inlays are carbon, sometimes with a cool blue thread detail. The upholstery is a mix of leather and Alcantara with that distinctive honeycomb stitching.
That honeycomb pattern is the visual signature of an RS model.
It is. But there's an interesting choice you have to make with the seats. You can opt for comfort seats if you want maximum long-distance comfort.
But there's a catch, isn't there?
There is. If you choose the comfort seats, you lose the honeycomb stitching and the RS logo embossed on the seat. It perfectly summarizes the dilemma of the RS7 buyer. Do you want the performance aesthetic or pure, uncompromised comfort?
You're choosing between sitting in a racing-inspired cockpit or a luxurious lounge chair. But let's step away from the immediate comforts and costs and look at the deep, unseen engineering that really justifies the price tag. If the purchase price of an RS7 seems excessive, you have to understand that a big chunk of that money funds Audi's deep commitment to safety engineering, and it's a commitment that goes far beyond what regulators require.
And the proof of that is their new Audi Vehicle Safety Center in Ingolstadt. This isn't just a crash test lab, it's a massive statement of intent.
It really is. It's designed to push the boundaries of passive safety, which is essential when you're dealing with a 1930-kilogram car that can do nearly 200 miles per hour. The facility has a 250-meter run-up track,
Which lets them test at speeds much higher than the legal standards.
Exactly. They have a mobile 100-ton crash block, and crucially, they can collide two vehicles at a perfect 90-degree angle to simulate complex intersection accidents.
But the real depth isn't just the hardware, is it? It's the work they do before a single piece of metal is bent.
That's the key. The commitment starts long before a prototype is even built. The specialists perform tens of thousands of crash simulations. For a single car body, they'll run over 60,000 calculations across 100 different load cases.
60,000 simulations. What are they trying to solve with that level of detail?
They're solving the immense challenge of managing kinetic energy. The simulations have to perfectly predict how the high-strength steel and aluminum structure will deform in any conceivable impact, channeling energy away from the passengers. They use over 60 different crash test dummies, from an 18-month-old toddler to a 102-kilogram adult.
So that incredible depth of simulation is what's baked into the high price of the RS7. It's the unseen engineering foundation that you're paying for.
It's the foundation of trust. They have an 80-year history in this, and that commitment proves that for them, performance has to be matched by survivability.
Okay, so let's finish on the part of the experience the owner deals with every single day. The technology inside the cabin.
The interface, the critical link between the driver and this incredibly sophisticated machine.
The RS7 comes with a high-end MMI Navigation Plus system with MMI Touch. It's a really comprehensive setup. You get hard disk navigation, topographical map displays, 3D town models.
And it's all displayed on that electrically extending 8-inch color screen.
Right, it's an immersive digital experience that really complements the physical drive.
And that 8-inch screen is high quality, but we do have to acknowledge its context. Many new arrivals are moving to much larger, fully integrated screens, 12, 15 inches. The pop-up screen in the RS7, while cool, can feel a little dated compared to the massive single-slab displays you see now.
That's a fair point on how fast the market is moving, but the functionality is still world-class. It gives you detailed route info, lane recommendations, junction maps. You're never going to get lost.
And then there's the connectivity. The Audi Connect online services keep the car networked, offering live traffic and other features. But there's a practical note here for the listener, a hidden cost.
That's the catch.
To actually use those online services, the car needs a data connection. That usually means a dedicated SIM card and a high-usage data plan. streaming all that map and traffic data isn't free.
So it's another invisible recurring subscription cost of ownership.
It is a small tax on the luxury of being connected. It seems to be a theme with this car, from the VED bill down to the data plan.
Okay, so we have analyzed the sprint speed, the crash safety budget, and the potential $3,000 repair bill. What's our final synthesis on the RS7? The arguments for the RS7 being hyper-performance reality is, I think, overwhelming. You have the raw numbers, 605 horsepower, 0 to 62 in a brutal 3.7 seconds. It's all powered by Le Mans winning technology, managed by a durable transmission, and wrapped in this incredible luxury package.
The honeycomb leather, the carbon fiber.
And it's all underpinned by that unbelievable commitment to safety engineering, with tens of thousands of simulations. It is a genuine, hyper-capable machine that absolutely earns its RS badge.
But that exhilarating performance comes with a fixed menu of vulnerabilities you just cannot ignore. An owner has to be prepared for that high probability of long-term financial strain.
The list we went through.
The unavoidable risk of turbo failure, the need for rigorous timing chain inspection, the chronic carbon buildup from the direct injection engine, and the expensive premature brake wear. And on top of all that, you have the high taxes and data costs. The real question isn't whether it can perform, it's whether an owner can realistically shoulder the long-term cost of that performance.
So for you, the listener, the choice is elegantly clear. It's a decision between the immediate, astonishing reward of world-class German engineering and the high probability of predictable, high-cost maintenance down the road. It's the non-negotiable cost of admission to the top of the RS mountain.
And if we look beyond just the car, we have to connect it back to Audi's corporate strategy. Given their recent pivot to a pragmatic mix of combustion and electric models, a strategy designed to manage a massive restructuring and compete with rivals like BMW and Tesla, we have to ask a final question. How much of the RS7's perfected V8 engineering is truly an investment in the future of the brand? And how much of it is the perfected final version of a technology the company is already preparing to abandon? Is the RS7 defining Audi's future, or is it just the magnificent final chapter of its V8 path? That tension between legacy and future is what truly defines this car's place in automotive history.